You are one of the best dungeon masters. So.
I've never DM'd in my life, so I hope this is a fun experience for you. Because
it's gonna intrigue me enough to play with you. Then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the tavern. That's kind of my first campaign stop usually. My character is an elven ranger who really connects well with animals and forest creatures.
do you have a familiar?
I do have a familiar. It's a bear cub.
Why a cub?
Because they start young.
All right. Roll to see if you find a place for fine drink.
All right, love me some D&D. Got my D20 ready. Roll 6.
You do. You're really good at finding drink. You are in a tavern. It's an inn, large stone-walled building, several stained glass windows and vaulted ceilings. Combinations, they consist of several large rooms with beds. You've heard that there is some sort of magic in the basement here, but the magic is more right in front of you. There's two handsome men who look like they are some sort of musicians. They look like they've known each other for a long time. The innkeeper, he's a stout male halfling.
I approach the innkeep. I take it that the two musicians are sitting at a table or something?
It looks like they've known each other for a long time. They're talking, laughing, sharing some drink.
I ask the innkeep, who are those two men?
Oh, you don't know of them? Ha! If you want, we can put some food on the house and send it over to the table.
Let's do it. And while you're at it, fill this up, please.
Finest wine coming right up. So you head over there.
Many people who have heard the album consider that to be our best. That is a result of the friendship. All that stuff is pretty much connected to the friendship.
Friendship is more important than Demons and Wizards is. So after we were already really good friends, that we discovered, hey, we can actually write songs together too. That's pretty cool.
Do you have friends?
I have a friend named Chewy, my bear cub.
Ah, what a handsome bear cub.
Thank you.
Bear cubs are good friends. Just like my friend Hansi here.
You two have been friends for a while. What do you do?
We're both musicians. Musicians who play in the band Demons and Wizards.
You're tuned in to the Metal Forge. Thank you so much for your viewership. Thank you so much for all your shares, all your comments, all your likes. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us, share one of the videos that you like, and check out our back catalog too. Man, I'll never forget the first time I heard Blind Guardian. A friend gave me a mixed CD, basically, of a bunch of songs and bands, and I heard for the first time Mirror, Mirror.
Oh my God.
And I was floored, dude. I was floored. Like, I couldn't stop listening to the band. And this was kind of before, like, Google was a thing and, like, you could just go online and search bands and stuff. So I had to wait till the next time I saw that kid. And he was, like, a senior, and I was, like, still in, like, 7th grade or something like that. So we didn't really cross paths too much. The next time I saw him, I was like, what was that Mirror, Mirror song? You know, I, like, ran up to him, and I was like...
That's really cool.
I was like, dude, like, who was that? And he was like, oh, it's this band Blind Guardian. And from there on, I was just
huge fan.
A fan. And I couldn't get enough of Nightfall in Middle Earth, Imaginations from the Other Side. And that kind of actually led me into Iced Earth and, like, leaning into, like, the heavier, like, power metal. I know they're kind of like a crossover of, like, thrash too, but, like...
I'd call them heavy power metal.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because, like, my introduction to that band was a similar time period. And for me, they were like the soundtrack to my art class. Blind Guardian was. You know, I had Nightfall on Middle Earth, and I think I ruined that CD with the amount of times that I listened to that while painting.
Yeah.
And I've been a massive fan of Hansi Kirsch, and also, I mean, Iced Earth has been a massive inspiration on me too ever since they started. So you take those two formulas and you mash them together in the best way.
Dude, the first Demons and Wizards album, I really think it's the standard for power metal supergroups. You get that heaviness, that jackhammer, the staccato rhythm of John Schaefer, in, like, these soaring, epic vocals of Hansi Kirsch, and it is just, like, the most glorious sounding thing, dude. Like,
glorious is the perfect word.
it really is, man. And, like, that's kind of like the atmosphere of the album 3 that just came out. It was really like an East meets West in the sense of, like, you got, like, the team, you got John Schaefer's team from Iced Earth, who is just bringing this awesome, just, like, crunching heavy metal vibe. And you got the Eastern elements of Hansi Kirsch and his German team. I didn't realize this, but he brings, like, a basically, like, troupe of background singers and things like that, which is awesome. And the whole vibe of the album just, like, has, like, this glorious, epic, big sounding thing to it, but it's also really different in the sense that they're kind of harping back to like a lot of their influences, classic favorites like Alice Cooper and Kiss and AC/DC and stuff like that. Jethro Tull.
Yep.
Got a couple of those records up here. I really, really just admire like what they're doing. It's a grab bag of vibes.
Getting into sonic character here, you know, I thought the album was mixed really well, like in terms of so much stuff going on. Like you said, pulling from different influences and everything. They did a great job mixing acoustic guitars with the epic choir vocals, and then also the ripping heavy metal on top of that, and blending that all together in a way that isn't overwhelming on the ears is great. My one comment here, at least on the sonic character, is I feel like they played it a little safe. In the sense that
I agree. Yeah.
It sounds like a mid-2000s record to me.
Yeah, this is actually mixed by Carl Bauerfeld, who is a very pronounced in the power metal scene. And he's from Germany. And mastered at LSD Studios by Lassie Lamart. And Jim and Tom Morris of Morris Sound Recording Studios in Florida, home of John Schaefer's band Iced Earth.
Yeah.
So it really, when I started doing the research on this, I was like, dude, this is like people from Germany and people from Florida collaborating. And it really feels like there's just
You can feel the friendship.
There's so much friendship.
There's a lot of friendship.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to have that. You know, we've been friends for a long time. I feel like you have to have that to have a band that lasts this long and sounds this fresh. You know, and they weren't afraid to experiment on this album, and I thought it worked in some ways. In some ways, it surprised me, but it grew on me. And that gets into the musicianship and songwriting. Like, everything about this sounds like the classic sounds of Demons and Wizards. You know, you got the progressive rock and classic rock influences on the album as well, but it still is very much the DNA of what the first two records were doing.
Right.
You can hear Kirsch and Schaefer. They're paying tribute to so many musicians that they loved. You know, growing up, you can tell there's Alice Cooper's in there, Jethro Tull, Uriah Heep. I hear a lot of Uriah Heep. AC/DC, Pink Floyd, and then the heavy metal side of things, like Accept, German heavy metal giants, Accept. Like, you could hear a lot of that stuff in there.
Right.
I mean, it's really, I thought it was masterful songwriting on every song. Like, even the ones that they started to pay homage to the more simpler side to the songwriting. Like, Midas Disease was a tribute to the Angus Young sound, and it's like it sounds like an AC/DC song. When I first heard it, I was like, this is weird. This does not sound like Demons and Wizards to me.
Threw me for a loop, yeah.
But then after a while, I was like, wow, this chorus is freaking killer. You've got them sort of breaking into their earlier formulas of like what Fiddler on the Green did, you know, when they had the really long epic acoustic sections, and then it breaks into this heavy pounding part. You know, they had a lot of stuff of that, and I thought they worked really well. Like Timeless Spirit, which was track 5, and then Children of Cain, which was track 11, had that sort of vibe, which was cool. And they do a great job with this album taking you through a power metal journey. You could hear moments on this record where they are both at the top of their game, and
Absolutely.
they've been doing this forever now, and they are still killing it in terms of how young they sound, you know, how much they just clearly love the music, and how much they have a great chemistry. And so, I mean, in terms of a score for me, at first when I listened to it, like I said, I probably would have gave it like a 3.5 or 4. But once I listened to it again and really got what they were doing, I gave it a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. I gave it a 3. I gave 3 a 3. Just because I felt like that I didn't connect with it so much. It did take a couple listens. It did take an understanding of where they were coming from for me to really appreciate it. After seeing how many people were involved, I was like, wow, there's a lot of hands in the pot, and you could kind of tell that there was a lot of hands in the pot. I almost wish that it was John and Hansi in their studio doing their thing. I'm glad that they're back. I hope that they have another one soon. It's great to see that John Schaefer and Hansi Kirsch are still doing their thing.
Yeah. support the band. The album just came out. Tons of excitement around it. There's a lot of people that are really enjoying it. Pick it up. It came out February 21st on Century Media Records. I think it's going to be a fun one for me this year. I think I'm going to keep revisiting it, and make sure you subscribe, share what you think in the comments. Let us know what you thought about 3. Let us know what you thought about, their previous releases and how it kind of fits into what you think about the band and what they've been doing. So, as always, thank you for watching.
Appreciate you so much. Take care.
Stay metal.